So a 2-lap swim, you can see there they've got a little bit of swell as they go towards the outside of that harbour, but that swell will turn back into flat water as they cut back in. We're going to see every 5 to 10 strokes the lead swimmer. He will be just looking up, making sure that he's swimming the direct line to that first turn, boy. It's so important to get to swim 750 metres and not 800 metres. You've got to be on that path. The good swimmers, they train in that pool, looking up, making sure they're swimming straight line.
It's pretty hard the way the waves up out on the turn up there. They've actually got to change the stroke. You go from nice long strokes in the harbour, then when the stop starts coming in, you have to take the stroke, push yourself back into the harbour, and then sail back into the shore. So it's quite a tough maneuver.
Right off the back.
Far at the back.
That's a huge gap early on in the swim here.
As they fight their way two abreast around the turn for the first time. Never pleasant. They'll make the turn and head back into home, and we'll start to get some splits and see exactly where our championship contenders are. This is, of course, a one-day world championship, as opposed to the elites who have the WTCS series, and we all know that the pressure there is very much on Matt Hauser, Cassandra Beaugrand, Beth Potter, who are all championship leaders. But athletes here are coming in and earning their place in the under-23 Worlds by virtue of great results either in Asia or Africa or in Europe as well, or Oceania. Different qualifying I guess, criteria, depending on which federation that they're under. But having a one-day World Championship race is so much pressure on these young athletes to perform on the one day.
Yeah, absolutely, and no mistakes can be made. It's all on the line right now, right here. And it's a lot of pressure for such young athletes. We know that these athletes, obviously under 23 years of age, so very young, some with a lot more experience internationally than others. But I mean, Will, the only way to gain this experience is to line up and race the best.
That's exactly right. These athletes all have designs on becoming elite world champions. And this is another step on that process. Some of them have already tasted, as we've said, the top level. But others are just coming in, having raced in juniors up until the age of 18 or 19, and then this is the first step. And the other 23s hasn't been around for such a
no.
necessarily a long time, but it is a good stepping stone between the juniors and the elites, which is there wasn't before.
No, and as we said earlier on, quite a few of these men are backing it up and racing again on Sunday afternoon in the elite race. So again, valuable experience for these young men.
Two arrowheads forming there, and you can see the pace really on as it's starting to properly string out now, and everyone's trying to find some feet to swim on to make sure that they stay in touch. And there's probably 100 metres or more between those who are leading and those who are finding the going a little bit tough at the back of the pack.
Really interesting that it has split like this, though, Will. I expected it to stay together as one. So we do definitely have those two distinct groups leading the way in to the Aussie exit.
I think most of our top 10 athletes are at the front. I can see one, maybe two yellow caps right towards the back near the right-hand side. But outside of that, almost all of the yellow caps of the top 10 are across the front. Someone's going off on their own on the right-hand side. And they're going to start to come together now and make their way back in towards the beach. I think that is Kropko who is leading on the left-hand side of your screen, if I can see the number one there.
When they interviewed quite a few of the men yesterday and they asked them who did they think was going to be first out of the water, I think 9 out of 10 of them picked Kropko to lead out of the swim here today.
Difficult, though, if you're Kropko, though.
Yes.
You know, there you can see the number one. And sighting on nearly every stroke to make sure that he takes the quickest route in, to make sure, obviously, you can't come up on the beach anywhere. It's coming around the buoy. That is João Batista on the right-hand side there, number 4.
João Batista, I mean, interesting. João and his brother, Ricardo, the only brothers to have ever taken home a junior world championship crown.
Someone there without their
the cap on.
So
they've lost their cap, yep.
Has lost the cap, so I'm not exactly sure who that is, but we'll find out once they cross the timing mats during the Aussie exit, as they come up onto
and he will be first
the
out.
beach. There is Batista as they come out. It was Kropko first, Mercer, and then Batista, Conway. Michael Gar's having a good swim. Mitch Kolkman is back in 6th, 8 seconds in arrears from Verneson. Esteban Basanta Fuz, Ewan De Negro, and Mathis Boldiu is your top 10. 14 seconds between the top 20. Vanison is in 20th position. Kropko off the front.
Great to see Solomon Akrafo smart, not so far behind. We know that he is one of the fastest runners in the field. He really needs to try and keep contact as much as possible during this second lap of the swim, but definitely one of the fastest runners.
Well, the happiest athlete out there right now is going to be Ollie Conway, who came out of the water 4th, and he was all about limiting the damage. And
doing a very good job of that so far.
Yeah, the second 750 obviously very telling, but Conway will be happy with that position. And again, we've got someone just taking off to the right-hand side. I think that is Kropko, and everyone else is following Mercer. As athletes are still coming in, 2 of them at the back. Oh, I can sympathise with that, watching everyone else go out as you're still coming in towards the beach.
Not a great position to be in. But you're right, looking at that, Ollie Conway, he's having the swim of his life right now.
Great swim as well from Michael Gar, who actually finished in Ulster in the sprint behind Conway. Picked up a 2nd placing there, the British athlete, and hadn't done an Olympic distance since Cortera in the elites. But there you go, there's the splits all the way through. Vanison 14 seconds in arrears as they came over. So it's really interesting to see how these athletes are, I guess, attacking this harbour swim, which is deciding what is the quickest way out to the pink boys and back again. Those graphics are just, it's a little bit like one of those eye tests. Right? Yes, I can read Theo Marti, but can I read Miguel Espuna La Ramona? Difficult.
Very difficult.
Now I have to get my licence. So I think it's Mercer leading that pack and Kropko on his own. Difficult to see from this angle as they head out for the second 750.
Really interesting that he's chosen to do that, though. I mean, I suppose he's out there on his own. He doesn't have to worry about any sort of argy-bargy or anyone swimming over the top of him. But look at the difference. It's a
huge difference. It's probably 30 to 40 metres.
I'm just really hoping that he knows where. I mean, you assume he knows where he's going. It's a second lap, but he's a long way over to the right there.
Yeah, got to stay on keep that on your right shoulder, that yellow buoy there, as that's designating where the rocks start to become a factor. And as they start to come, he starts to come back together now, but it probably will come back, you know, at 4th or 5th feet, having taken a little detour further to the south.
And you can see him coming all the way across now, realising that he was just a little too far right. But you're joining in, you're right, Will, about 4th or 5th now, instead of in the lead. Won't do him any harm, but it's not exactly what we would expect from Kropko.
Making the turn at the far end, so that designates we're about 1,100 metres into this swim. And we're going to start to see the athletes come out onto the blue carpet to take on 40 kilometres on the bike. And this most difficult part of the swim here. You can see the swell
pushing them in there. You could see they had to really concentrate on making sure that they got around that buoy. One more to go before they will be making their way back in here to us.
Won't be the fastest swim over 1500 we've seen, but it will be a good test of the swim prowess of these athletes, and they'll be happy to be coming back into the harbour and to be wrapping up this portion of the Under-23 World Championships here in Wollongong. Triathlon has absolutely taken over the entire city already, with so many age group athletes down here who have raced this morning and will race tomorrow, and then support the elites with the juniors tomorrow, which will be really interesting racing as well. And all of the para-triathlon on Saturday, the T100 race
T100
as well,
Saturday
which is
afternoon.
going to be, is always an absolute feast for fans of multi-sport. And there's some really interesting fields as well for the T100.
That's right, a lot of wild cards in this race. It's been a long season for many of our professional athletes, having started way back in February. But it gives these athletes an opportunity to shine on the big stage. So I really like this field, because there's so many unknowns that have never had an opportunity to race at this level. But right now, our under-23 men making their way back here to shore. It's not a very long transition, Will, today.
No, they'll need to go up the steps, up onto the road and the blue carpet, and it's, as I said, they're going to take on what is a really interesting bike course. There's an immediate climb up Endeavour Drive that'll really get the blood pumping. Anyone who's done the 1500 metres and gets on the bike knows it's all the blood is in the top half of your body, and then you've really got to find a way to get the legs pumping. And they'll do the loops around Flagstaff Hill, which is, I guess, the most iconic part of Wollongong here, the Wollongong Lighthouse, and then the fast left onto Marine Drive. There's a technical section there with some 90-degree turns, and then a long grinding climb up onto Kembla Street that sweeps down onto a long flat section, which is increasingly gusty and windy as the day continues. So having looked at the faces of some of the age group athletes that came across the line earlier, it's definitely a tough day out there, and it's only going to get tougher as the day wears on and the wind continues to whip up.
Seeing you come in straight after the race into the booth here, I was worried that you were actually going to be able to do your job today.
Yes.
You didn't look great, but that's all right. You've recovered very, very well.
I considered it a very long and painful course recce for the elites.
That's taking your research to the next level.
That's exactly
for sure.
right. I know where every pothole is. I hit them all.
You hit there, every single one.
The roads are in good condition. Wollongong Council have really got behind this one. There was 24 men out for the last couple of weeks, taking all of the speed bumps out, filling in all the potholes, and making sure we have fast, fluid racing as they head up towards the beach. And they're going to be there in around 17 minutes for the 1500 metres. Beautiful shots here.
Look at that shot
of Wollongong, a beautiful city, just tucked in about 60 to 90 minutes south of Sydney, depending on where you are. Coming up on 17 minutes, and here are your contenders. That is Batista's there. And out of the water they come. And they all said it was going to be Marton Kropko, and they were all correct. The Hungarian is out of the water first, Jean Baptiste second. And then number 45, Michael Garr, the British athlete, in third as they head onto the blue carpet and onto the bike. Big crowds here enjoying what is going to be an incredible race. There is Garr in second. He's already got the wetsuit down. Mitch Kalkman thereabouts as well, and Ollie Conway has had a great swim, and he comes in right alongside Kropko. That is a huge swim for him, the British national sprint champion. Having some issues with the helmet, Kropko. And Gar is who gets out first, so not a great transition for the Hungarian. Mercer there as well, he'll get big cheers. Kolkman too, and Conway as they head out onto the bike. Straight away, Michael Gar looks around and finds himself in the lead of the Under-23 World Championships, if you don't mind.
Wow. Fantastic start from Gar.
Kropko, Mercer, Wernerson there, Kolkman and Lucas Cambrisi, the Luxembourg athlete, your top six. Esteban Basanta Fuz, Miguel Esputa La Ramona, the Italian, Nicholas Probert Vargas, and Conway lost some time there in transition too. He came in third or fourth, he's came out 10th, so he's lost 5 positions in that transition.
And look at Gar there turning around saying, where is everyone? Come on. But you can see that hill that they have to climb almost immediately after they've left transition. Really good opportunity for a breakaway here if these men are able to really push the pace. Now look at that, you can see that climb straight away.
Yeah, it's a punchy one there. It gets steep quite quickly, but then it eases off, and then we've got a long downhill now onto Marine Drive, and you can't see it there, but it is windy out there. And they're going to do this 7 more times. They're going to come straight past the commentary box where we're sitting here in Wollongong. And it's quite a big group forming at the front, and then a big gap back to the chasing pack. So a lot of those athletes out there are already seeing their chances start to go up in smoke.
Starting to
There's a lot of the big names out the front.
And we knew this was going to happen. We knew that the strong swim bikers were really going to push the pace of this initial lap out of transition.
Kropko and Mercer part of that group at the front. There's another couple of athletes are trying to catch up. Now they're heading west away from the coast and trying to get some protection from the wind with some of these big buildings that are around. There's Wind Stadium in the backgrounds, home of one of the local rugby league teams, but it's kind of, there's a few concrete canyons here during this, in this area, so you know the wind will whip through here as well, which makes it a little difficult, and there's some technical sort of 90-degree turns as well.
Oh, we've already got one of our athletes on the side there.
Number 15, that's Vinicius Avi Santana in his first year in under-23 racing.
So not quite sure what's happened there, but it looks like maybe cramping.
Yeah, looks to be. Junior Brazilian sprint champ. First time up in under-23, was 36 in the Junior Worlds last year. So you never want to see that. The medical team is there.
Looks like he's pointing at his adductors, so just having some sort of cramping in his adductors. I mean, these men have come a long way. You know, I think for the Australians and the New Zealanders, very, very happy to have a home grand final, first one since 2018. Nice to only have to do a domestic flight as opposed to the 30-odd hour flight over from Europe or North America.
So 2 athletes still in the water while the others are out halfway through the first of their bike laps, and a big group there at the front will be starting to look at each other and think, how are we going to progress this? How are we going to, roll around together, or is someone going to go off the front and they're going to organise themselves to make sure that the under-23 world champion comes from the group? And this is a replay of the withdrawal of Vinicius Avi Santana, the Brazilian who was out of the water and cramping up, I think.
Yeah, those adductors are just cramping, and often can happen with long-haul travel. Just sometimes it can be just so difficult to get it right.
It comes in with some form too, Santana. 6th at the Pan American Games. It was only a bit over a month ago, so he'll be disappointed with that. We've got a group meanwhile of about a dozen out front. We'll get the splits very soon. There is the chase pack, Rory Thornhill among them.
Oh, we've got a crash. Oh my gosh, we've got a crash.
Big crash there. We'll have to try and wait to see who it is. Theo Marty from Luxembourg. So we'll get a replay on that one.
Not sure if it was just
there.
a touch of wheels, but it was on a long straight section. No real reason there for him to come down, but here we go.
Here is the replay. Marty about third wheel there, I think, and then he's just...
It looks like he's just touched the wheel in front.
Straight over the handlebars too. That is tough to watch for the athlete from Luxembourg.
And, you know, I think sometimes with these, you know, this is the biggest race of the year for most of these men, and nerves are at an all-time high. It's been a long trip over for a lot of these athletes, and, you know, to lay it all on the line on the day, just to keep those nerves in check. And we're talking about athletes that, you know, are not quite as experienced as our elites, obviously.
Again, the one-day World Championship just gets into your mind, no?
Exactly, yep.
The man from Macau, Lau from Macau, there he is. Oh, yeah, I'm glad I got to say that. Part of the...
Bit of an issue there.
World Triathlon Development, or those regional cups they have for development there, and competes in Asia Cup races. He was third in the Macau Sprint Champs last year. He's out onto the bike, getting a taste of U23 World Championship racing.
You can see right now, this is probably the only section of the bike course that they've just completed that's flat and fast.
There's 12 men in this pack at the front. According to our splits, Ollie Conway is there, Marton Kropko, Jules Retheret, Lucas Cambrisi, the other Luxembourg athlete, Mix Kolkman, Michael Gar is there, the man who was second out of the water, Braden Mercer, the Australian hope, Ewan De Negro from Italy, Mathis Beaulieu, Miguel Espina-La Ramona, Esteban Basanta Fuz from Spain, and Nicolas Probert Vargas, the Mexican. And then it's 16 seconds back to the chasing pack, and Sebastian Wernersen, who came out of the water fourth or fifth, did not make that front pack on the bike. He's 19 seconds in arrears on his own, dangling, and he's about to be picked up by a group that includes Gyalt Panzia from the Netherlands, Pavel Sorokin, Jack Stanton Stock, the British athlete, finished second in the British Sprint Championship Series, Gyula Kovac from Hungary, Eduardo Nunes Gomez, Rory Thornhill, another of the Australians, Rhys Vanassen is a further 4 seconds back with Gergo Doby of Hungary. That's your top 21. But Conway will be liking his position right now. In the front pack, he's a smaller athlete. He'll look to tuck in, and he knows he's got to run.
Now they go 2, 4, 6, 8. Did I say 80 kilometres?
Probably the best runner in that group at the front, you'd say, Conway.
Definitely.
So he'll be happy with that, and now it's a real tactical game to just see who is willing to try and deliver a breakaway. There's a couple of, as we said, technical or punchy hill sections where it's possible to be able to try and break away. But it's a big group there, 12.
It is. It's almost too big. And Kropko and Kolkman, I mean, they've got to be thinking, we cannot have Conway in this group by the time we hit T2. We need to get rid of him. He is the danger man right now.
Braden Mercer on the front, the Australian, as you said, quite an affinity with this part of the world.
I mean, just the name Mercer, synonymous with surf lifesaving here in Australia.
I apologize, I think that was actually the chase pack. I think that wasn't Mercer. I think that was probably Rory Thornhill pushing the front of that one. Yeah, this is our front pack now.
You can
on
see
lap number 2.
This is probably the most exposed section of the course, so a lot of wind.
Yeah, Thornhill on the front of this chase pack as they go up the hill towards the lighthouse there.
So you can see the difference
hill.
Right now, while our chase group is making their way up towards the lighthouse, we know that that front pack is already on their way back. But really exposed section here. Will, I ran up here this morning just to get a feel for it, and it was, you know, it was definitely quite blowy. This is when they're going to have to be really careful not to overlap wheels too much. and it's a northeasterly wind, so
now on the second lap, our lead group heads into the more technical section away from the coastline. Once they make that turn, there's further 90-degree turns here onto Smith Street, Wilson Street, Campbell Street, Corrimal Street. It's kind of a left-right situation before they head on this big sort of grinding climb out of town and make the turn at the top section, or the northernmost section of the course. They're the kind of little climbs that over the course of 7 laps can really sap the legs.
They're annoying.
Annoying, that's
at the
exactly right.
At the beginning of the ride, the first couple of laps, they're just annoying, and then they become pretty tough towards the end.
Grind.
Absolutely, and I think we're going to find this towards the latter stages of this bike. So lap 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that the pace is on there as people are trying to attack and test the legs of those behind them and try and thin out the pack a little bit here, because it's better if you're in a group with 4 or 5 and can work together and you know you've got a 1 in 5 shot then. I don't want anyone sitting in there at the back. We'll get splits again soon, and we'll see the gaps have grown now. So after the first split, it was around 19 to 25 seconds with the chase pack, and now it's ballooned out to 36 seconds. So the group of 12 working well at the front. And after the first lap, the gap now 36 seconds, and it makes life really hard for athletes like Vanison and Stanton Stock and Verneson, who are now 36 seconds back and needing to work super hard to try and stay at all in contention. But when you've got a group, and the group in the chase pack's a similar size, they have to organise themselves to work hard enough to keep those who can run well in contention. Meanwhile, the group at the front will be happy to know that athletes like Verneson and Vanison are not in that group, and they'll want to make sure that they don't see anything or any gap closing whatsoever. Let's have a look back at how it played out. There is Marton Kropko on the left-hand side. Lost his cap at one point during the swim. It was a really, really interesting swim as well, with the arrowheads forming and people taking all sorts of different lines out of Cove Beach and out of Wollongong Harbour and into the open ocean to make the turns on the pink buoys. People were spread 40 metres wide coming in. On the right-hand side is Kropko, lost his cap. He was first out the Aussie exit and back in the Hungarian, the #1 seed. Jean-Baptiste not too far behind. And he would keep that lead all the way through to the end, with Batista behind him, and then Michael Garr, who had a great swim, the British athlete. Kropko, though, first onto the blue carpet, and Ollie Conway not too far behind. There's Mitch Kalkman of the Netherlands as well, who had a pretty solid transition. Conway lost a bit of time, had trouble getting his wetsuit off. No problems for Garr, though. He was first out onto the bike, and a group of 12 would form at the front. An unfortunate incident.
Oh.
And I wouldn't say it was brake check, but I think got too close to the man in front. Theo Marty of Luxembourg went over the handlebars, and we'll try and get a update from on course to see whether he's okay. Rory Thornhill, the Australian, driving that chase pack, but it has ballooned out to, as we said, 36 seconds. So a group of 12 at the front on the second lap of 7 on the bike, before a 10-kilometre run in the heat here of Wollongong to determine our under-23 world champion. But most of the contenders are in that group, which is exactly what we want to see, Belinda.
Right where they want to be. And you mentioned a few names. One, Michael Garr, and interesting to talk about him. He's been over here for, I think, a little while now, based himself up on the Gold Coast. So we We know that he's been doing some swimming. We've got an absolute legend of a coach up there called Phil Clayton, who's an open water swim specialist, and I know that he's been doing some swim sessions with him. So it's interesting to see where these athletes have actually based themselves. Obviously, they're not coming over the week of. It's too far to travel. So a lot of these athletes have come over early and based themselves, a lot of them on the Gold Coast. We've had some down at the AIS in Canberra. We've had a few up in Noosa, where I'm from, training up there. But it's been interesting to see exactly where they've decided to put themselves. And then, of course, we've had quite a few down here based in Wollongong as well.
The lead group back into town, and we'll be finishing up lap 2 very soon, whereas the chase pack are about, well, as we say, 30 seconds back, making the turn at the big roundabout, which takes them off Cliff Road and then back into the town section. And they've got a climb ahead of them that the lead pack have already completed, so they'll be coming down the hill and onto the blue carpet very, very soon. And as you can see, the chase pack is now working uphill before they make a left-hand turn and into the town section. So across the top, the lead pack goes, and now it's a nice downhill run onto the blue carpet.
It's going to be very interesting, Will, when we get to that 7th and final lap. It is quite a steep downhill to the blue carpet. It's going to be interesting to see if any of those athletes aren't able to break in time to dismount before that blue line, the blue carpet, of course. Really going to be a crazy fast finish to this bike ride here.
It was Jules Rethray who led down the hill just then. We haven't talked about him too much, but he was 4th in the Under-23 Worlds last year, and he'd come off the Rome World Cup race that year where he finished 18th. This time he skipped the Rome World Cup and he's come down, although he did finish 7th in Istanbul, the European champs. He also finished 2nd in the French Sprint Champions in the elite race, which, if you know anything about French sprint racing, that's pretty
impressive.
And now an update on those splits as they come now across. It's gone from 36 seconds to 57 seconds. The lead 12 back to the chasers, 20 seconds slower. The chase pack, which, as we've mentioned before, includes names like Sebastian Vernessen, Reese Vanassen, and they're seeing their chances of being in contention on this run fading away. So if you're just joining us, a group of 12 at the front: Jules Rethray, Marton Kropko, Ollie Conway, Mitch Kolkman, Ewan Denigro, Lucas Cambresi, Miguel Espina La Ramona, Mathis Beaulieu, Michael Garr, Nicholas Probert Vargas, and Esteban Basanta Fuz, and then Braden Mercer in the back there, holding the Australian hopes in his hands. The chase pack goes up over the top of Flagstaff Hill and then gets that nice long downhill along the coastline and Marine Drive before they turn back into the city and then out onto Cliff Road, where it is exposed again, but there's really no escape from the wind gusts. And we've seen athletes already come afoul of that.
And you can see that lead group in comparison to our chase group, just way more organised.
I think when you're in the front like that, and you can start to look at measuring your efforts a little bit more, as we see some of the beautiful coastline here in Wollongong. That's an iconic bridge whose name escapes me right now, but
it wasn't. I'm obviously from Wollongong. I was born here, and this was not even built when I left. So incredible to look at this now for me.
My producer Jolien is telling me it's called the Seacliff Bridge.
Seacliff Bridge.
It's cool, no?
It's unbelievable. I know that a lot of the athletes have been riding up and down that particular road in training, and lots of those beautiful sea baths that we are famous for here in Australia.
That's true. There is an absolute cracker here. Just up the road, very Instagram worthy.
Absolutely, and I think it's one of the things that our European athletes love when they come to Australia is the amount of 50-metre outdoor pools. They are everywhere.
They are everywhere, that is true. And they're open all year round. There's a lead group really pushing, really working hard. To try and maintain and continue that gap and pretty much take it out of the hands of the entire rest of the field. And this is one of those climbs, and these climbs as well, that they're preceded immediately by a 90-degree turn, so it's tough to take a much speed into those climbs. So you kind of turn, and then you look up and you're like, oh, I'm not going fast enough to deal with this. And so you're up out of the saddle and making sure, working hard and maintaining that speed, and that's what this group at the front is doing.
They really are, and they're doing it so beautifully right now in the early stages of this bike ride. But you've got to look at this course, because on paper this course doesn't look particularly difficult. You know, the climbs aren't that long and they're not that steep. But I just think it's the combination, 7 laps with several climbs at each lap, lots of twists and turns, lots of sharp corners, and each time slowing down and then having to speed up outside of those corners again. Eventually, it has to start, you know, taking its toll on your legs. It starts to hurt, that's right.
Yeah, so and then there's this long, after you finish those punchy climbs and 90-degree turns, there's this long open section on Cliff Road where it just requires consistent power before a dead turn at the top of Squires Way. So you can see already out onto the open road is the lead pack, whereas the chase pack still dealing with these grinding little climbs, and they just don't look like a group that is... No,
they're just not working as well as our lead group.
And that's why we're seeing that lead balloon out, and we'll get more splits as we go along, as already our front pack strung out in one long line. And Ewan De Negro doing a lot of the work out the front and looking behind him saying, when is someone going to come and help me? He is part of that Italian mixed team relay team that won the under-23 European champs in July.
He's actually coached by Glenn Palernis from the PTC coaching. Coaches the likes of Martin Van Riel. It's out of Girona in Spain.
That's one of your favourite places.
It is. I've seen this group when I've been out running training often. I know Yuri Kulin racing the T100, also coached by Glenn. He's got a very, very high-achieving stable of athletes.
Well, the lead pack strung out 12 in a row. The chase pack bunched up a little bit more. Athletes not working at the back, and they're probably seeing their chances disappear. That's a massive pack now of athletes that have come together, probably too big to effectively work together. Whereas out the front here on the left-hand side, you can see these athletes continually working hard, and you know that by the fact that they are single file and soon to be coming back down into town again to finish the 3rd of 7 bike laps. And that gap now has gone again an extra 20 seconds on that lap. So it went from 36 seconds to 56 to now a minute 16 to our chasers. And I think barring incident, our under-23 world champion will come from this group of 12.
Definitely. And you've got to put Ollie Conway right at the top of that list. We know that he's running so well right now. I know, speaking to quite a few of the British elites, they put all their money on Ollie.
Go through our lead group. Come on, make some noise.
But interesting to hear his interview, Will, where I think he's even surprised himself with just how well he's gone this year and continues to go.
One name that's not in that group at the front there is João Batista. And I'm not sure what's happened, but he's dropped off our timing.
He was in there originally.
We're just both madly reading here, and we've got De Negro, Cambresi, Conway, Espina La Ramona, Beaulieu, Retheret, Gar, Kolkman, Probert Vargas, Kropko, Basanta Foos, and Mercer. And João Batista, who was in the front leading out of the water, is in 25th position, a minute 18 back. So he's dropped back to that chasing pack.
Yep, something's happened there.
So Batista, who was, for many people, one of the major contenders here, has dropped back from the lead pack early on. The Portuguese national Olympic distance champion. and the European Junior Champion from 2024, and fresh off an 8th at the Way High WTCS race.
Yeah, we knew he was coming into this race in very, very good form.
Very good form, but he's part of that chase pack now, so he's going to find... Well, Conway will be happy because Batista's one of those guys who can run. He's coming up to the 45-minute mark in this under-23 men's world champion. Lead pack on your left, chase pack on your right. Nearly a minute and a half between them now, and it's a big unwieldy pack of chasers who, as you can see there from that beautiful shot, are about to head up Flagstaff Hill for the 4th time. The lead pack has done that and heads away from the coastline again and through the technical section of this course. Look at that beautiful shot on the right-hand side. There you go, the chase pack. 20-plus athletes in that group. A beautiful day here, about 27 degrees, blustery conditions.
Such a great course. World Triathlon really, when they put this course together, it's got a little bit of everything. And of course, Wollongong, triathlon crazy for many, many years now. I remember racing the Wollongong Triathlon back in the day when Olympic distance racing, it was still draft illegal. So it's come a long way since then, but Wollongong has always been a big fan of the sport of triathlon.
When was that? Was that when TV was black and white?
We don't talk about dates. We leave those quiet. Thanks very much. A long, long time ago.
No bikes, just horse and cart. Down the hill they go, and some of the big hitters have missed this pack, but many of them are still in with a very good shot now. Yes, I think that's Conway working on the front. Pushing this bike, knowing that he's got a high-quality run in the back pocket. And it was really interesting, actually, in his pre-race interview. Even he was surprised at how well he's gone this year. He continues to take on new challenges and dominate them. First World Cup win on debut, 4th in his first WTCS race on debut. Went to Super Tri in Jersey, ended up on the podium and finished 5th at the under-23 champs in Malia as well.
Cannot fault his year. It's been about as perfect as you could ask for.
Yeah, lovely guy as well. He's got his feet firmly on the ground, which is important when you have a meteoric rise like this. But he'll be looking at Kolkman and Kropko and Mercer as the other athletes in the top 10 who are part of this group. And we've lost guys, high seeds like Batista and Verneson and Sullivan Midor, who are all in the top 6 seed-wise. And all that seeding and the numbers, the cap numbers obviously come from their world rankings.
One athlete we haven't spoken about too much who's up in that group too is obviously Matisse Bolu, also a very, very strong runner. I think earlier this year outran Morgan Pearson in Montreal to take the win of that World Cup.
Well, that's nothing to sneeze at.
Exactly. So another danger man there when it comes to the run.
He's been improving too a lot. Like I think he was at the start of the year, he was sort of nowhere, and then he's come under Parker Spencer in Project Podium, which is USAT's, you know, they don't have the results in the men that they've had in the women in recent years, and LA 2028 is coming up. So the idea is to put an American on the podium, and Bolu, although he is Canadian is part of that.
Part of that team.
And as is Vanison and a host of other athletes.
And that's based out of Phoenix, Arizona?
I think, yes.
Yep, Phoenix, Arizona.
And Bolu then continued to just get better and better. He picked up America's Cup win in Montreal in July. He finished 3rd in Samarkand in the World Cup in May. He had a great Super Tri season as well. Best of 6th. So I think he's found himself a bit of a home there and feels...
Looks to be working very well for him so far.
So he's amongst that group. And Retheray's the other one who is got quite the resume. He's part of the group as well. having finished 7th in the European Champs in Istanbul, as we said, and 4th last year, so we want to do better than that, the Frenchman. 4 of 7 laps to make up the 40 kilometres, and there you can see the gap between the lead group and the chase pack, and some of this incredible coastline. Of course, the women coming up at 4:15 p.m. local, which is in about 2 hours and 15 minutes. And, well, where else would you rather be, Belinda? That makes, I mean, drone shots always make things look
best,
good,
yeah.
but look at that.
Especially when you have a backdrop like we're seeing right now. Although, when you walked in here a couple of hours ago, you were not saying it was as picture perfect as we're seeing on screen.
It was absolutely horrendous. I honestly, having done the Olympic distance race, I say probably the toughest race I've ever done. Yeah, I was close to just starting to walk there, Belinda.
But you didn't. That's the main thing.
No, because my wife, who wasn't meant to come down,
surprised
me on the side of the run course, and I thought, well, she's driven all the way here from Sydney.
I better make an effort here.
Keep going.
No walking allowed.
And then I saw her afterwards, and she said, "I've never seen you look in more pain than that." There's another one of those beautiful.
Look at that, two. What's better than 150-metre outdoor pool? 2, right there.
Isn't that beautiful?
Unbelievable.
World Triathlon Championship finals proudly supported by the New South Wales Government's Tourism and Major Events Agency, Destination New South Wales. Now, for more information, if you're looking at this wherever you are in the world and thinking, geez, that's not a bad place to go, all you need to do is go to visitnewsouthwales.com and you can find out all of the attractions and reasons why you should make a trip down under at some point, whether it be for a triathlon or just to enjoy. And there is our leaders out onto the 4th lap of the bike.
It's great to see how Wollongong's got behind this World Championship. It's been a long time in the making. They've all come out to support this race here today, and obviously in the days to come, culminating with the elite race on Sunday afternoon. We've had the Lord Mayor, Tanya Brown, down. I think she's been down here every day since it started, showing her support. But it makes such a difference when you have a city or a town that is so wholeheartedly behind the event.
Yeah.
It just makes it so much easier.
Well, it's not a major city, but as a regional city, it kind of, you know, it takes over the place, and everybody knows that this is happening. So, gee, that gap's getting really big now. So that chase group coming onto the blue carpet. The lead group has already made Flagstaff Hill and is down on Marine Drive, and it's gone out to a minute 30 now between that group and the others. And I keep noticing as well, every time we get new splits from the lead group, it's Kropko and Conway on the front. So they are continuing to drive. This is the 1st seed and the 3rd seed. Continuing to drive at the front, whereas you've got athletes like Beaulieu, Kolkman, Basanta Foos, Mercer, who stayed on the back the entire time, whether he's dangling, whether he's struggling to stay in touch, or whether he's trying to conserve, knowing that there's some quality runners out there. Well, I guess time will tell.
But it's interesting, isn't it? Because we know that Ollie Conway is the fastest runner on paper out of this lead group. So why is he doing all this work on the front? I mean, he doesn't need to. He knows without a doubt that he must back his chances coming into transition, that he will outrun all of them, but he's not content to just sit in this group. He wants to push the pace. So hats off to Ollie Conway, who's really driving this group. And part of the reason that this gap continues to blow out lap after lap.
If I was him, I would definitely go, okay, if I feel like I'm the best runner, I'll just stay at 10th wheel.
This is what I'm saying. It's fascinating to watch, because I think if I was on a Conway,
full of testosterone and want to be at the front.
But I think also a young man that's not content to be known as just a runner.
That's true.
He wants to be renowned as being, you know, solid over swim, bike, run. He's a triathlete. He's not a runner. He's a triathlete now, and I love this. I love the way that he's racing.
Well, you can't have results like he's had in the last 12 months without being a complete athlete, and he showed that coming about 3rd or 4th out of the swim. and has been taking his turns on the front of this bike as well. It's obviously the safest place to be as well. And as these athletes move towards the second half of the bike, we enjoying this incredible place, one of the heartlands of multisport racing, Wollongong.
Kangaroos, koalas, quokkas, and world champions. Wollongong's wild side is waiting. Make your World Championship trip a race staycation to remember.
Beautiful shots, beautiful animals, only ruined by the questionable moustaches of the best athletes Australia has to offer.
What is it with these moustaches?
I don't understand it.
I don't get it either.
Can't get on board, not one bit. Maybe it could be because I cannot grow one, but that is irrelevant. I could do a little blonde one like Hauser, but I have too much self-respect. But truly a destination for multi-sport, but also just for whatever you're into, as the lead group continues to push. And there'll be some athletes who'll be thinking that their best chance then is to not be in a running race with some of the guys behind them. But it's going to be really hard for these guys in this wind to be able to break away from the group that's behind them. It's the man in the red. Yeah, it's difficult to see the numbers. We'll get the splits if someone can break away. So some attempts being made off the front, and it does serve to continue to drive this pack away from the chasers who are making their uphill grind out onto the open roads over 90 seconds in arrears. So in the lead athletes at the northernmost part of the course on lap number 5, I want to say now. Those names, just to recap, if you're just tuning in, this is our lead pack of 12 in the Under-23 World Championships, and that includes the number 1 seed from Hungary, Marton Kropko, the number 3 seed from Great Britain, Oliver Conway, and we've had some accidents at the back of that group, and we don't want to see that. There was a coming together there at the back of the group here, and we'll find out exactly who was involved in that, just as I was running through the names there.
We definitely know there was at least one man down.
Dear, oh dear. So the group has thinned even more.
But again, you know, as you said, it's why we see the likes of Oliver Conway up the front of the group. He wants to stay out of trouble.
Stay safe.
Because silly little mistakes like this and your race is over.
That is the chase pack who will have seen that accident happen as they've gone past them as they head to the northernmost part of the turnaround. But of that group of 12, we've lost at least one, possibly more. And we'll try and count them on the way through. I think maybe there's 9 there or 10.
So we've lost a few. And just such a simple, silly mistake right there at the back of that group. Just a lapse in concentration for a millisecond.
It's all it takes, and it is windy out there. So maybe a little gust of wind brought some wheels together.
And you know, once we are 3/4 of the way through this ride now, and legs are starting to get a little bit tired. Wheels overlap just slightly.
Every time I try and count how many bike riders they are, they change the shot, and I've lost it.
How dare they?
Okay, I think
How
10.
dare they?
I think 10.
Yeah,
but
so
we'll see,
maybe
because they're
2.
going to come down over the blue carpet right now. 9,
No,
maybe.
I think it is only 9, Will.
So
I think
we've lost 3 of these athletes, and we'll see who they are as we come across the splits. So the Aussies will be happy. Braden Mercer's still there.
The Mexican's still there as well. So Eduardo
Kropko's still there. Kolkman's still there. Conway is still in as well. So the big names as well. Mercer, Gar, Probert Varkas, De Negro, and Espuna La Ramona. So
who are we missing from
Jules
that group?
Retheret is one that's no longer there. So he's 27 seconds back, and Esteban Basantafou. So they're back on the bike, the Frenchman and the Spaniard.
Oh, there you go again. Look at that. It's just...
There's the replay on the right-hand side. So
just a complete lapse in concentration there. Yeah, look at that. It was another touch of the wheel. Down he came, and the other... Oh, we've got the two down there. What a shame.
So there's 9 now in the lead pack. There was 12. Retheret and Basantafou are back on the bike. There might be one athlete who is not. And I'm going to say it's Mathis Beaulieu.
You're right, and he was the
Canadian.
He did come down. We could see that it was a red and white suit that was on the ground there. Oh, that's so disappointing.
Hugely disappointing for Beaulieu, who's having a great season. So he's had an issue there, come down hard. We hope he's okay, and we hope the same for Theo Marty, the Luxembourg athlete, who had a similar issue on the first lap of the bike in the back end or the technical section of this course. As the chase pack come down the hill, and they'll come over the blue carpet now, and we'll see what the gap was. It was 129 on the previous lap, now 144. So more time being put in by this now group of 9 at the front. Oh, you hate to see it though, don't you?
No, that's not the way you want this race to pan out, particularly being a World Championship event.
That is the chase pack, and a couple off the front who are trying to encourage more work, and you can, that's a great shot as well of the calmness in the harbour versus the chop outside, and you can see the pink boys at the top of your screen. The women will be taking those on in about 2 hours' time. Pushing these races a little later in the day than they normally are, so the Europeans can get up and have their bitter coffee and croissants and enjoy
the World Champs. And you can see here right now we've got two of our athletes trying to break away.
I think that's Rory Thornhill, the Australian.
Yep.
Who has been driving this pack and has now dragged somebody with him.
He's decided he wants out.
Now they're not. I mean, you've got to though, don't you?
Yeah.
If you've got anything in your legs, you think, well, we could just ride around and then have a run. Or we could try to roll the dice and do something.
Continue to let this gap go out significantly each and every lap.
Yeah, over the laps, it's gone from 30 seconds to now nearly 2 minutes between this group at the front. Let's see if the 9 of them can work together, whereas Jules Retheret and Esteban Basantafou are now in between, in no man's land, having unfortunately been caught up in that accident from Mathis Beaulieu.
The worst place to be, no man's land. But I'm sure they will be swallowed up.
And that's Lucas Cambresi, the Luxembourg athlete, driving their way up this long climb, the longest that we have. And now he tucks in behind. Mercer is 4th wheel there, the Australian. Is that Conway on the front again?
Again, it is too. Yep. He's relentless today.
And then the Italian, Ewan De Negro, 3rd wheel as well. But yeah, he's on one, Conway. He's on one in 2025. Not just today. He has found something. I'm not sure what it is, and I don't think he knows what it is either. He's just improving immensely.
He's just going with it, going with the flow, which is great to see. As we mentioned, just such a breakout year for the young Brit.
You got to wonder what the mentality is in the chase pack here, because they know they're losing incredible amounts of time because we have an out and back, so they're going to see them every single time, and yet they're not able to pull themselves together or work harder, or maybe they just the pace at the front is just too hot. There's just too many athletes in this group, and the ones on the back are just not getting the opportunity to work. And it's Thornhill, and I think it was Batista potentially who was with him in that.
Trying to get away.
The two of them together, because Batista would fancy himself against the group on the run, and we're starting to get towards that now too. Not too long to go.
We know Rory Thornhill's been very consistent throughout Asia this year. I think he was 5th in Yilan, 6th in Taozu, and then 7th in Osaka Castle. So he's had a solid year at the Asia Cup races. So we know he's coming into this race in some form, and I think he's just getting a little frustrated, as you would. It's a big group. They're not working particularly well together. They're continuing to lose time each and every lap, and I think he's getting to a point in time where he's like, I've got to take a risk.
Well, there he is there off the front of that group, and there's someone on their own out the front. But I think essentially if they're going to limit their time at all, they need 4 or 5 of them working together.
And it's a hard situation mentally to be in. You attack off the front, you have maybe 1 or 2 go with you, but you know there's the safety, the comfort of the big group right behind. So it's one of those situations where you need to commit wholeheartedly, 100%, and not look back. Easy for me to say sitting here in this studio, harder to execute.
That's true.
On ground.
We have lollies and they don't.
No. But again, what are these men racing for? Are they racing for 20th place? They need to. I really think it's. I'd rather die knowing that I'd made a really concerted effort to push the pace coming into transition.
The Under-23 World Championships live from Wollongong, Australia, and Ollie Conway on the front of a group of 9 as they head back into town on the 6th of 7 laps. And your lead group includes the Australian Braden Mercer from Italy, Ewan De Nigro, Lucas Cambresi from Luxembourg, Conway we mentioned, the Italian Miguel Espuna-La Ramona, Marton Kropko, the number 1 seed, the man lots are looking at to become the Under-23 World Champion. He's had World Cup silver already. Came 6th at the Junior Worlds. It's his first year in Under-23 this year. Mitch Kolkman is there as well, wearing the number 2, and Nicholas Probert Varkas as well. And particularly strong races from guys like Cambresi, Espuna-La Ramona, Vargas, who were, in terms of the world rankings, they're down there in 20th, 30th, 40th position. They're having especially good races today, and they will like how this is going with a group of 9, and there is the bell.
Bell lap.
Jules Rethray and Esteban Basanta Fuz, after that coming together in around the same spot that the chase pack is now. They were 26 seconds back, and we're going to get a split from them soon, the two of them, to see how much time they've lost to this group of 9. And there you go, not much, only 3 seconds.
Wow.
Which is pretty good after having an accident, getting up and carrying on. The two of them working really well together. As someone has come into the commentary box with lollies, which is going to really help for the run here for the two of us. Outstanding work. Expect the excitement levels to lift as we get stuck into the lollies here at the back end of the Under-23 World Championships. There is your group of 9 on the bell lap. Last time around Flagstaff Hill, down Marine Drive. They're going to head through the city technical section, out and back, and then it'll be all about the 10-kilometre run and who has the legs. But it's not the last time they'll see that lighthouse, because they're going to run around there 5 times as well.
Incredible. They are going to be so sick of this lighthouse by the time they finish today.
Honestly, that little climb, the age groupers were running around that this morning. It was breaking people.
Oh, and the crazy thing is it's not that long and it's not that steep. But I think for the Under-23s, it's just the fact that they have to do it so many times.
So many times. 7 times on the bike, 5 times on the run. But that's what you want when it comes to a World Championship race. You want the full test across all different types of swim, bike and run, and they've had that. They've had the calm swim, they've had the ocean chop, They've had technical, punchy climbs. They've had open, long, straight sections on the bike as well. And in this run, they're going to face all sorts of tests as well. The gap, another 20 seconds put into the chase pack on that lap as well. 2 minutes and 4 seconds to the chasing group, which includes real contenders like Sebastian Vernessen from Norway, Reeks Vannessen from America, and João Batista from Portugal. Let's not forget, we haven't even mentioned Thomas Hans Maynard, the Frenchman, who is the 2022 Junior World Champion. And he won that Junior World Championship in his second year in the sport. In the sport, which is outrageous. Didn't have a great European Championships, finished 15th by his own high standards, but he did have a 4th in that World Cup in Samarkand. So
great race there, very strong.
He's just had an off race at the European Champs in Melilla, but other than that, he's got quite the resume, and he's sitting back in 21st alongside João Batista, who's another proper contender, but they're 2 minutes back.
It's getting to the point. It's just...
I think it's past the point.
It's past the point, that's right, it's correct. It is definitely past the point.
Too much run quality in the front. As now through these 90-degree turns and little climbs go the lead group, which is thinned from 12 to 9. Mathis Beaulieu is a DNF, unfortunately, from Canada. And Jules Retherain and Esteban Basantafu's caught up in his accident on the end of the 5th lap. So they're 30 seconds back and still in contention and still in touch very much if they have survived unscathed outside of coming off the bike. And again, it's Conway leading up this section. And he is not sitting in, not one bit. Ewan De Negro, what's he saying? Something to the camera there. Shaking his head. He's not happy, the Italian.
Be interesting to hear what that is all about. But every time we get a close-up of this lead group, it is Oliver Conway on the front driving this group towards the finish of the bike.
Cam Crazy again has spent a lot of time at the front as well. The Luxembourg athlete Michael Gar sitting there in 4th wheel as well. Kropko tucked in, the Hungarian. Hungary just seems to be just punching out these high-quality athletes, like one after another. Like, it's just like Chongo Lehman and Fanny Zalai and Marton Kropko and Marton Kropko, and
we've still got 2 more Kropkos to go. The twins.
Quad Kropkos they've got.
Scary thought, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's just the junior system in Hungary is on fire. There's no question about it. And we're seeing those athletes kind of trickle through into elite ranks, and
not necessarily a country that I would have picked for this to happen. So, you know,
they're doing something right.
We understand USA, Great Britain, they've always had really good programs in place, same as Australia. So to see a small country like Hungary producing such quality athletes, and not just in the elite, as you said, all the way through from junior to under 23 to elite, across the board. This is the far turn.
Moto makes the turn, which means we're at the far turn for the last time, and there's some splits we can see on the pillar. Kalkman on the front at the moment from the Netherlands. Conway Cambrasi, Michael Gar having a seriously good race. Ewan De Negro and Espina La Ramona. They've got the same flag there, but that's the flags of Italy and Mexico. Braden Mercer, Marton Kropko. And finally, it's Nicholas Probert Vargas. Sorry, Italy, not Mexico. All these flags look basically the same to me. 35 seconds now, so they've lost another 5 seconds. The pair who got caught up in this exact spot 2 laps ago. Last time around the big roundabout, up the hill and then into town, and then a big downhill where they're going to need to get their dismount exactly right. because they're going to be coming in extremely hot. And Belinda, you know what? While we're looking at this, make a choice for me. Who's going to run away with it? There's your top 9 right there.
I think it's an easy pick right now. Probably one of the easier ones I've had to do over the year. But Oliver Conway, he is by far the superior runner. I mean, he's worked very, very hard on the bike here, which is something that I'm not as used to seeing, but yeah, you can't go past him. He, as I said earlier today, he's got a PB of 13:49 that he set back in March over 5K on the road.
I mean, you say that, but when you look at guys like Kolkman, Kropko, Mercer, I mean, they're good, they're great runners.
Absolutely.
They're great runners, so someone
absolutely.
could be having one today. I don't think we need to put the cue in the rack.
They're also used to riding hard on the front. So it's going to be interesting, and I know it's, you know, this 10K run, and when it's a world championship, you often see athletes rise to the occasion. You've got those athletes that love, here we go, into transition. They love the big time races. Oh my gosh, we said this was going to be, oh, that looked mighty close for a couple of those athletes there, Will. We said it was going to be lightning fast into transition, and that it was. But wow, some of those athletes were right on the line there.
Mercer, the last one from that group in. Conway, the first one out. Kolkman as well. There's Kropko, Gar, Denigro, Cambrasi, Espina La Ramona. There's Mercer. Look at the face on him.
Facials on Mercer then. Oh, he was...
Gee, I tell you what, that was a really strong transition from Conway and Kolkman. And you can see he's trying to stretch them out already, and they all came in together, and already you can see the gap up to 10 seconds after that, and Conway has gone out hot.
He is not mucking around. The young Brit means nothing but business here today.
He's gone out at 5 kilometre pace, but it's a 10 kilometre run, and look at the gap he has put into Kolkman and Gar.
This is insane. The first of 5 laps. Now, the first lap of this run, a shorter lap than the 4. So we've got one shorter lap that they will do first of all, and then 4 laps of just over the 2 kilometre mark.
Not too much shorter though. What, 1.7 to 2 kilometres?
Yep.
So a group forming at the back there. There's a pair there that looks like Kolkman, and I think, I want to say, Michael Gar.
But look at the gap that Ollie Conway, in the first few hundred metres of this 10 kilometre run.
Miguel Espina La Ramona had a particularly good transition there to put himself in 3rd position coming out. Now it is the chase pack who are trying to ease their way in over the dismount line and onto the blue carpet, and they are 2 minutes back, so they actually limited the damage there on the last lap, but it's a little bit too little too late at this point. Conway turns at the top there, and he's on the downhill, and there's a group of 5 who are all trying to chase him down, and at the moment they're looking at each other and thinking, are we fighting for the minor steps on the podium? Meanwhile, the chase group's out now, and that is Rory Thornhill, the Australian, who tried to drive the pace at the front of that bike, and he's probably paying for it a little bit now on the run. There's the gap. Conway has disappeared, and then a group of 5 behind him. But I guess the job was, I'm going to go out as hard as possible, and I'm going to gap everyone as quickly as I can. And now it is Oliver Conway's to lose, and they all get a look at the chase pack, who is coming up around the top of Flagstaff Hill. And Braden Mercer's dropped off the back of that group. Let's see the replay then of the dismount, and just coming down. Kolkman got a foot down, but only just.
It's going to be interesting to see if there were actually any penalties given there, because it is right, almost photo finish material there if they were dismounting.
Conway looks good though. Look at that run. He's got beautiful arm carriage. He's nice and upright. He's aware enough to grab the water. It's hot out there.
And look at that gap back to his chasers. We knew he was coming into this race in good form. I mean, the results showed it. I spoke to quite a few of the GB team. They all said it. Vicky Hollander had a great chat to her, and she predicted Ollie Conway was going to take the win here today. So nothing that we're seeing right now is out of the blue. We knew that this young man was coming in scintillating form. Did I think that he was going to take control of the race from the very first lap of the run? No. But he put himself in such a good position from the swim. Outstanding swim for Ollie Conway here today. Worked so hard on the bike, was the driving force in that lead group. And now onto the run. His forte.
Yeah, look, I think as soon as he came out of the water in the top 5, he must have thought to himself, today's the day.
This is the day.
Yep.
I am feeling so good. I am exactly where I need to be, where I want to be.
Well, he does things on debut. He won a World Cup on debut. He's fourth, the top 5 in the WTCS on debut, and now it's his under-23 Worlds debut, and he is right out front, having absolutely put everyone to bed in the opening kilometre. Here's the chase group. Kropko on the front there. Michael Gar, Ewan De Negro, Mitch Kolkman.
I wonder if these men are thinking, you know what? The top spot's gone, and now we're just racing for second and third.
Oh, it's a long race.
Do?
What is he? Only 1.7 kilometres into the... It's 10Ks.
Am I calling it too early?
Yes, stop it. You keep... as commentators, we have to make it seem like it's always up for grabs, Belinda.
Well, you know it is. And we've seen that in previous elite finals events where we thought it was a done deal, and it hasn't been. So you're dead right. But honestly, just knowing the prowess that this man possesses on the run. I mean, his coach back home, Steve Lloyd, what an outstanding job he's been doing from the Nottingham Performance Centre. You know that Sean Rainsley, another athlete, another of the great British athletes that is also coached by Steve Lloyd. But he just looks so good right now.
He does, but he's got 8 kilometres left to run, and the chasing pack has some quality in it. Kropko is leading that group, Michael Gar tucking in. Kropko finished 6th last year at the Junior World, so he'll be looking for a better result, minimum podium. And then you've got the Italian athlete, De Negro. You've got Espana, the other two Italians there.
Two Italians, yep.
And then Kolkman off the back there. And Kolkman, well, he finished on the podium. He had a bronze from the Under-23 Worlds last year, the Dutch sprint champion from 2024. And he'll want another colour better than that. So Miguel Espina-Laramona having a specifically good day out. 15th in the Rome World Cup. One of a handful of athletes that did the Rome World Cup just under 2 weeks ago, and then came down. So it's been really interesting with all the research to kind of see how people have decided to lead into this, like whether or not you take on something like that and then come down, or you come down 3 weeks early and you don't do any racing. How people approach it has been completely different.
Yeah, it really has.
Meanwhile, Conway's taking the time. On the third time, he gets a bottle of water and he gets double then. He got excited about that and he puts the ice down the front. So it's quite hot out there, and Conway looking exactly like he did on the first lap coming up here as well. Just obviously working out how to deal with the heat, but he still looks strong and he has not dropped off one bit on the pace. The gap back to now, Probert Vargas was dropped right off the back, so I'm going to give you some updated splits as they came through there, and you can see the gap is now monumental between Conway and the chasers. It was 17 seconds at the last split. It's more than that now. Definitely, and at that point, De Negro had broken away from Kropko, Gar, Espina-Laramona, and Kolkman and Cambrasi, and then a gap back to Braden Mercer, who was 34 seconds in a rear from Nicholas Probert Vargas, 42, Jules Retheret, 108, Esteban Basantafus, 112. Vanison is leading the chasers in 12th, and Batista behind him. So those two are stuck together with Andre Buck from Chile, and then it's a gap back to Jack Stanton Stock, Thomas Heinzman, L220 back with Daniel Damien, Braxton Legg, and Eduardo Nunes Gomez are your top 20. But this is the chase group, and I think, well, Denigro has come back to them. So at one point he was 4 seconds ahead. He's come back, and they have dropped Michael Garr, who you can see at the back
Right
of
at the
shot.
back there, yep.
The Great Britain athlete. So there is your podium potentials. Kropko, Kolkman, and then the Italian pair of Denigro and Espina La Ramona. Meanwhile, Oliver's just having a day. A big, big day for the British athlete.
They're really bad. They've got to sort that out.
Doesn't quite know what to do. He doesn't, yep, got rid of it. I was wondering when he was going to get rid of the ice. I can understand, definitely important for them to try and keep cool. It is starting to warm up out there. Not one of the warmest days we've had, but certainly for most of our Europeans coming out of autumn right now.
Yeah.
Back home.
I mean, the last couple of weeks in Europe, it was really starting to turn cold.
Turned cold, whereas we've actually, I feel like we skipped spring here and went straight into summer.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
It does feel like that, doesn't it?
Just terrible. Of course, the humidity here in Wollongong, in New South Wales, we're in the state of New South Wales here, not as bad as where I'm from. A lot of these men base themselves up north in Queensland, where the humidity levels are a lot higher than what you find here in New South Wales, although today sitting at around 71%, so it's certainly... Let's see.
No, it's just, the weather's perfect.
It is perfect.
And
Well,
I'm not just saying that because I would invite everyone to better visit newsouthwales.com, and it's all been paid for by Destination New South Wales, but it is perfect.
it is perfect. Today it is perfect.
Beautiful one day, perfect the next. Isn't that what they used to say?
What
was that for?
That's Queensland.
Yeah, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's
a different
today,
state.
it's Wollongong,
But today
okay?
it's Wollongong, New South Wales.
As my co-commentator, you meant to
I
back
meant to
me
agree.
up.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'll remember that from here on. But Wollongong is, as I mentioned earlier, quite famous for the sport of triathlon. The Wollongong Wizards, I know Aaron Royal, who will be joining me in commentary for the T100 later this week, based himself down here. I think he still owns a house down this way, so along with his wife, Non Stanford. So spent a good part of, I think, 15 years that he lived down here training. He based himself down here training with some...
You can see Braden Mercer there, big gap back.
Gap back there now.
So 17 seconds at the last split for Conway. We're going to get an updated split in a second, and we're going to see that he has absolutely smashed everybody. So in between the last split and this, which has only been about maybe 5 minutes, first lap to second, he's gone out to 39 seconds ahead of the two Italians.
And look at him, Will. He looks so composed. 19 years of age, racing like he's been in the sport for years.
Absolute daylight behind him. And there's your top 8. They were all together on the bike, and Conway was doing... It wasn't if he was sitting in. He was definitely not sitting in. He was working hard and feeling good. And now a minute 25 cover your top group that was on the bike just a little while ago, and how quickly things can change in the opening 4Ks of a 10-kilometre run. And you can see that's the age group transition top of your screen. So not long ago was absolutely packed with bikes, and because I had to come straight in after my race, my bike is still in there somewhere in that
I think
paddock.
I can see it right there.
Yeah.
One lone bike
there.
left.
I hope it's still there when this race is finished. Let's go, Ollie. Let's wrap this up so I can go get my bike. But congratulations to you. You're absolutely on fire. Some of these athletes getting...
Here's Kropko now.
Kropko dropping off the back of the two Italians who are having an incredibly good race.
Look at that, split right up now. So that group of 4 now all running individually.
Yeah, Miguel Espina La Ramona, second in the Mediterranean Champs in June, and he's the former Italian aquathlon champ as well from 2024. But there's nothing, when I was researching everyone, I wouldn't say that his statistics or his resume in 2025 would lend itself to running away from a field of this quality behind Conway and potentially picking up a podium spot.
Yeah, he's definitely having the race of his career so far.
And yes, much the same for Ewan De Negro as well, who is another one who raced the Rome World Cup. So both these two Italian athletes came from the World Cup, but De Negro finished 45th, whereas Espina-La finished 15th. And now the two of them are stuck together, and Marton Kropko is trying to stay in touch and keep his chances of a podium alive. And the gap was 17 seconds at the end of the first lap. Second lap, we've gone out to 39 seconds on the midway split, which is just huge. I mean, the others are all kind of similar to what they were at the end of the last split, but Conway has just disappeared into the distance. Some updates for the others. I mean, you've got your group of three there now who are fighting for the podium positions: Espina-La, De Negro and Kropko. And then Kolkman has dropped off the back of them. That's not Kolkman, you can see there behind the trio. That is a lapped athlete. And then Lucas Cambresi from Luxembourg, Michael Garr from Great Britain, Braden Mercer of Australia, and Nicolas Probert Vargas from Mexico. And then a little gap back there to Esteban Basanta Fuz, who, along with Jules Retheret, has really dug deep to stay in and around the top 10 after getting involved in an earlier accident on the bike. But Conway, you can see he's starting to dig deep himself now on the second lap. But he has not eased off the pace one bit. Keeping himself cool as best as possible.
He's on us a bit now.
But he is, as they say, just absolutely on a tear today. Ollie Conway. And this will be another big boost to him. And he's not one of those, I don't think he's one of the athletes that has his name down for the elite
No,
racing.
he doesn't.
Maybe he should change that.
This is true.
Kropko back in front of the two Italians now in the chase group.
These guys have been zigzagging, yo-yoing up and down on each other, but good to see Kropko still fighting hard.
Well, one of these men you can see on the right-hand side is going to miss out on an under-23 World Championship podium.
Oh, what a spot to be in. The old chocolate medal. No one wants. It's a medal that no one wants.
I'll take it. I will 100% have it. Fourth would be good. But none of these guys who are some of the best in the world, and we'll see these names time and time again as years go by, as they move into the elite ranks. Nobody wants that fourth place.
They must have known when they came in off the bike, the likes of Kropko, the two Italians, that they were in serious trouble having Ollie Conway right there.
So we'll get another split in a second. Conway's gone through the 5.7 kilometre split, which is at the top of that turning point up there, next to the stadium. And he's going to come back in and he's going to see his rivals. There they are. And it was 39 seconds. Well, it was 17 on the two splits ago. Then it was 39. And these guys are going to make the turnaround very soon. And we're going to find out if Conway has continued to put time in. And I would not be one bit surprised if he has. Looking at these guys and how they look and what their turnover is like and what their body carriage is like, there's not much to split them, to be fair, in terms of how they look.
I've been trying, but all three still look very, very good. Oh, look at that.
He's gone from 39 seconds on the last split to 1:01 on the next.
And I mean, it's not like that chase group are not running well. They are running well. It's just that Ollie Conway is running so much better. And look at the poise.
I don't know how Ewan De Negro is 4 seconds ahead of Marton Kropko. They're basically stuck together. So that happened in the last split too. De Negro seems to have 4 seconds up his sleeve somehow on our timing. But they are together. and Kolkman 128 back. So Conway is just in another universe right now in terms of the speed he's running compared to these guys. I'm blown away by how quick he is, because they are excellent athletes who are chasing him, and he is making them look slow. Update on the rest of the splits. As you can see, your leader there on the left, Ollie Conway, and then the chase group fighting for the podiums on the right. Outside of them, Kolkman is 128 back, Cambrasi 144, Mercer 202, Esteban Basantafus 208, along with Jules Rethere and Nicholas Probert Vargas, who dropped off that group of initial runners to join the two who had been caught up in the Beaulieu accident. So those three together are your top 10. And then it's a further 23 seconds back to Michael Garr, who was having a tough run after being such a factor in the early parts of this race. In fact, he could get picked up by Vanison and Batista, who have broken away from the chase group who was on the bike and are now starting to try to run down those ahead of them. And they could, in fact, make it even all the way up into the top 7. Depending, we've still got 4.5 kilometres to go, and those two can really motor.
I was going to say, it's what we expect of these two. They're both outstanding runners.
So they can see ahead of them now. Within 30 seconds ahead of them we're going all the way up to Braden Mercer in 7th. So Vanison and Batista have targets to run down. Meanwhile, right-hand side of screen, it looked like Kropko. I was just looking at the timing there. Kropko and Denigro have dropped.
You can see him just in the background right now.
Espuna La Ramona. So, should have looked at that a little bit earlier, because I was looking at the splits, and in that time, Denigro and Kropko have gotten rid.
And look at this, Kropko deciding no hydration needed. He took that corner so he could went straight through, whereas the Italian decided, I know, it's getting hot out there, I need to.
Valentino
Valentino, he's a very popular athlete.
He knew he was on camera, so he pointed to his name.
And that is Valentino,
like, yep,
to a T.
Pointed to his name, he's like, don't, just forget the fact that I'm getting lapped, check me out. So that's what he's done there, and he's tacked onto the back of this group.
I love it.
And these two, well, now it's about who wants the silver and who wants the bronze, I suppose. As Kropko powers up this hill once again.
Look at that, he looks fantastic. And look, just starting to create a tiny bit of a gap there. Oh, look at the difference in turnover, Will, between the two up that hill. Kropko definitely looking the better. And this could be a pivotal moment for Kropko.
Yeah, he's pushed away. And that was a deliberate move there.
Absolutely,
on that little tough, little punchy area up to the flags.
And that was experience right there. He knew that this was a moment.
Look at him though. Look at his face.
Look at the face though.
Oh, that hurts. It hurts to look at. It hurts worse to experience. Kropko though has gapped Ewan Denigro. And he has silver. He's got one hand on it. Meanwhile, Conway's having a victory lap already on the 3rd of 4 laps on the run.
Look at that gap now, though, Will. It's really starting to blow out. So that was such a decisive move from the Hungarian, and it has paid off right now.
Well, that could be the moment he looks back and goes, that's when I knew I was going to be Vice World Champion, although there's more time to go in this one. It's only the 3rd of 4 laps. There's another 3 kilometres to go in this race. Really exciting to watch this. I mean, yeah, we get the job as commentary and you've got to describe it all and bring people into it, but the two of us are just gathered around the screen having a great time watching these stars of the future.
Well, I think that's what resonates with me so much here, that they are the stars of the future. With LA coming up, you know, the next Olympic round about to start next year, and then you see performances like this. I mean, Ollie Conway, 19 years of age. And already
from this
like
angle, he could be Johnny Brownlee, couldn't he?
Yes.
The way he's running like that.
Absolutely. And you know, GB just continue to produce these incredible athletes year after year. I mean, we were missing Alex Yee, obviously, from the elite race on Sunday, but then to see Ollie Conway come out today in the under-23s, and we know, I think I can say it now, Will, is going to win this so decisively, like
No,
so.
he is, and we're going to see the split again. It went from, what, 36 to a minute. And now, where are they? Because they were at this point before. There they are now. There's Kropko. Kropko's got a big gap back to Denigro now.
Wow.
On the left, and Conway will start to think, this is mine. I'm about to become the under-23 world champion. As Marton Kropko, 6th in the Junior Worlds last year, first year in under-23 racing. And it's the same for Conway too. So we're going to see these guys go head-to-head again next year.
Absolutely. And the Kropko family, you know, talking about them last night, where they decided to move. They're from Budapest, obviously in Hungary, but moved to Zurich because the training conditions were just a little bit more favourable. So the entire family packed up, moved across to Zurich.
They obviously hate money because you can get rid of it real quick in Zurich. So they're trying to get rid of some money there. 1:23 the gap now, another 23 seconds on the splits. And yeah, I think we can safely put this one to bed. Have to be the mother of all blow-ups to have any kind of issue now, and that looks to be your 1, 2, and 3. We'll get the rest of the splits back to the chasing pack. So Denigro's at 1:31. It's 12 seconds back now to his Italian teammate Miguel Espina-Laramona, and then quite a way back to anyone else. And I've got to say, Conway has not eased off the pace one bit.
Not at all.
Kolkman, the bronze medalist from last year, being made to look relatively slow, although his chances of a top 4 finish are not over. He's 20 seconds back to the second of the Italians.
And the Italians definitely racing
Well, they're having one, aren't
out
they?
of this world today. I mean, I would not have put them in my top 5 leading into the race.
No, I don't think anyone in terms of...
Certainly not a podium.
Any of the chat around the lead-up or any of the articles that have been written and read did not have either of those two really in the top 5 or 6.
But this is World Championships at its
That's
best. This is exactly what it's about.
It was lead pack, chase pack. Now it's just leader and chaser. 1 versus 2. The third seed up the front. The top seed chasing behind. Gives a little thumbs up to someone on the side of the road there. And he looks pretty good, actually, Marton Kropko, now that he's gotten rid of Ewan Denigro. He looked like he really dug deep to do that. And we'll get some splits all the way back. So let's look back and see that Denigro is 1:30 back. So there's a 7-second gap between Kropko and the Italian. Then it's Espina-Laramona, 13 seconds back, 20 seconds further to Kolkman. Then 25 seconds further back to Lucas Cambrasi. Esteban Basanta Fuz not far behind him. Jules Retheret, Nicholas Probert Vargas. Reese Vanneson has moved up into the top 10. João Batista is 11th, and they've both gone past Braden Mercer, the Australian, who's now in 12th overall. And then there's nearly 30 seconds back to Ibe Baelda, the Belgian, and Thomas Haynes-Manel from France is 3:23 back. So that's your top 14, and Vanneson and Batista have 20 seconds to make up to Probert Vargas, Retheret and Basanta Fuz if they want to move into 7th and 8th position. Meanwhile, last time, you can put it in the rearview mirror, the lighthouse on Flagstaff Hill, Conway, because he is on the way down onto Marine Drive. And once he makes the turns at the bottom end of the course, the next step will be the blue carpet. An hour and 40 minutes of work, and it has all worked out beautifully for Conway and Kropko. This is where he made the decisive move on the Italian on the last lap.
And the same face as well as that last lap, just really pushing up and over that hill.
I can appreciate that face.
Oh, yeah. But look at the difference in
like.
facial expressions right now. This young man on screen, absolutely in cruise control.
He's not cruising, though.
Oh, no,
he's
not.
absolutely
he's pushing it all the
motoring
way,
still.
But just looks so cool, calm and collected facially. He really has raced perfectly. There's not one part of this race that was not absolute perfection for this man. He set himself up for this in the swim, and he's never looked back.
Yeah, he really drove the bike, really took it away from the chasing pack, broke the hearts of those who are outside the top 12, avoided the situation with...
Thumbs up again there.
Yeah.
Love it. Glasses go up.
He knows what's coming. He knows he's about to be crowned the under-23 world champion. He hasn't just won this race.
He's annihilated
He
it.
has annihilated it, and he has made a big, big statement of his intent in the coming years. And he'll line up again this time next year, and they will look at him and they will think, how are we going to beat this guy?
What do we need
He
to do
absolutely
here?
smoked us all last time.
Well, I know in the past he's often not made that front group, so he's had to chase and he's had to use his run. But right now, you know, he was right there from
Yeah,
the
I think
get-go.
that he'll say that the swim was where he won this one, and I
Absolutely.
think that's right. I mean, you know, for a guy who's used to chase, look, when you're chasing, you've got to be absolutely on the hammer the whole time, whereas you can make some decisions about how you race if you're up there in the lead pack. I mean, apparently, it's never happened to me. I mean, you would know. But here he goes, onto the blue carpet. Oliver Conway, he finally gets a smile. He hasn't just won this race, he has made the statement of his life. Oliver Conway is your under-23 world champion.
You could hear Pete Murray then down on the ground. Wow, wow, wow. And really, there are no other words to describe the performance that this young man showed us today. What a performance it was.
I don't think we've seen performances that dominant in quite a while at this level.
No, not at all.
A perfect swim, a really tough bike where he contributed, and then to run away, and he looks back down the blue carpet, there is no one.
There, no one there.
There is no one, and there is still quite a while until Marton Kropko arrives. The number 1 seed, the man that lots of them were looking at, but Oliver Conway has had the 2025 from heaven. And he has capped it off with one of the most dominant World Championships performances. He is going to cool down, rest, relax, and wait for anyone to come anywhere near him. I'm blown away by the quality of this young man from Great Britain, the future of Team GB in good hands with Conway, who has continually surprised himself with his performances. He will wait, and then he will see Marton Kropko, the Hungarian, and he'll finally welcome him across the line. When have we seen a gap that big at any World Championships race between first and second? That is absolutely unbelievable. Kropko comes across, 6th in 2024 at the juniors, on debut at under 23 in the Worlds, and he's a silver medalist. He had to dig to get rid of the Italians, and the Hungarian picks up silver. 1 minute and 39 seconds back. Behind him, De Negro really fought for his bronze medal. 13 seconds further adrift. And there is your top 3. We'll probably see Miguel Espino-La Ramona. There he is, who comes across a further 20-odd seconds in arrears.
Fantastic
and those
racing
two
from the Italians.
Yeah,
honestly.
the Italians are force. An absolute force. And for Great Britain, well, up until this point in the history of the under-23 World Championships, Great Britain and France had shared 3 golds apiece, and now Team GBR go up as the most successful nation in men's under-23 racing. Congratulations to Mitch Kolkman, gets 5th. Rethere, incredible to get 6th in the end after a crash. And there's Batista and Vanison, who are stuck together in 6th and 7th with a huge finish.
You said that you said that they could work their way up to that 6th and 7th place from that chase group. Fantastic run.
Huge runs from them. That were incredible runs. And if you look at their run times, the best was Ollie Conway, 28.53, and Marton Kropko was 30.28.
2 more races as this car. Yeah, I think. Yeah, well done, man. Good job. Good job.
I don't think you can even believe it. Braden Mercer comes across in the end, I think in 12th position. Found the going very tough, and a sprint finish for 13th between Baelda and Andre Buck, and I have absolutely no idea who won that one. But I think it says it was Buck there. In fact, they've got the exact same time, 1:46.29. We don't get splits lower than that. Thomas Haynes-Manel, the Frenchman, the 2022 Junior World Champion, comes across to complete the top 15. Ahead of Jack Stanton Stock, who's had a very good run in the end. Stanton Stock. And Conway, though, he managed to, well, he had time. He could have stopped and high-fived everyone and had a chat. Oliver Conway, well, you'd be excited if you were a British fan to know that as some of the biggest names in the sport age out and then they get replaced by guys like Alex Yee, who then go off and do other things, and you've just got this incredible production line of athletes.
They just keep coming. They keep producing these out-of-this-world athletes. Oh.
Braxton Legg comes across the line from USA. Kovac and Burkle, and we're going to head down now to the blue carpet to hear from our winner.
Ollie Conway, unbelievable performance out there. Yeah, do you just race with no fear?
I don't know, I just sort of felt good in the legs today. I think the swim, I was lucky with my starting position because I was next to some really fast swimmers. So I pretty much just got on feet straight away. And yeah, I probably had the best swim I've ever had in my life. So I managed to get front pack straight away. And then in the bike, I just tried to keep the pace on, you know, up the hills, pushing it. Because I just, you know, just wanted to keep the bike on. I didn't want because the fast runners behind, you know, I didn't want them to catch on. And then the run, I just felt good. So I just tried to keep a sort of consistent pace all the way through and managed to get a gap. So yeah, I don't think the race could have gone any better. So yeah, it's great, thank you, cheers.
Yeah, it was like a bullet out of a gun, that run, but off the back of a bike that you had worked so hard in, despite being with the likes of Mitch Coltman and Ewan and people that were also working very hard, you were up the front a lot.
Yeah, I try to keep it on the hills because, you know, if you're on the front on the hills, everyone's working. I mean, there's the draft, you don't get as much as an effect. So yeah, I just try to push it every hill, just you sort of zap everyone's legs a bit and my legs. And yeah, it seemed to work. So yeah, it went well, thank you, cheers.
So it's just exuding confidence. It's like, you know, it's not normal to be gunning out on your solo, making that kind of gap on your first ever World Championship.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just sort of this year, I think race by race, I've just gained more confidence and just been training really hard this season, to be honest. So I think, yeah, it's just nice to see it's finally paying off. I didn't really have the best of races last year. I've sort of got a penalty in last year's Worlds. I just had issues last year, injuries and everything. So yeah, just happy to see it all came together this year. So yeah, thank you.
Great stuff, congratulations.
Cheers, thanks a lot, thank you.
If we can get Martin in. All right, congratulations. The look on your face said it all as you crossed the line there. A brilliant performance.
Yeah, I was not expecting this at all, especially being sick almost 1.5 weeks before the competition. So for me, this second place is a perfect ending for the season. Like, I really wanted to perform for my little sister who was not put in the national team for this competition. So this one is for her also. And yeah, I can't really say anything. It's my best performance in my career so far.
Yeah, I mean, as Ollie Conway kind of pulled clear, it was a real battle on for the medals, and you just had to dig in, find that extra gear and find that inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, Ollie Conway was in a different level than us, and really heads off in front of him because he was keep attacking on the bike, and yeah, we never really slowed down, and yeah, we can thank a lot to him that we put 2-minute gap for the chasers. And yeah, on the run it was basically only a battle for silver and bronze. So yeah, I'm really happy that I could attack on the hill on the run. Especially I had no good run sessions after the sickness, so I was really not expecting this high fitness on the run. So it's really something I was not expecting at all.
Silver in the under-23 World Champs, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
and you and Denigro completing the podium, a brilliant bronze. And after what you, by your own admission, was disappointment in Rome, come back here, you must be delighted.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it was a really, really hard race. Like, I mean, you know, when you have guys like Conway, Kropko that already did top 10 in WTCS, it's always going to be hard. And yeah, as you said, after Rome, I was pretty disappointed. But you know, if you get comments by your own federation, you just can't perform. And yeah, I have to thank Glenn because he supported me. And yeah, this is the race. Yeah. Sorry.
No, absolutely fine. I mean, yeah, just give us a sense of the environment that Glenn, your coach, and the other athletes that you're working with, and the inspiration that's giving you.
Yeah, like, we have such a great group. Like, we support each other, like, day by day, and yeah, it's all thanks of him and, like, my mom, and yeah. Sorry for being emotional.
Don't be silly. Let's go back to the harder stuff then, like out there on the bike, coming down into transition and a hilly transition and the speed that people were going, and you lost a couple of guys out there. It had to be full concentration the whole way.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I saw, like, we had a little crash as well, so like, yeah, it was just full focus for the whole time. I saw Glenn and my mom and my sister like cheering me, and also my girlfriend was here, so like she's gonna race now. So yeah, it was just brilliant. Like, I had a lot of motivation and I just wanted to do good. So I have to thank them, honestly.
And briefly, as the four of you boiled down and then you shelled Mitch Coltman and you and your compatriot Martin going for those final medals, how did you find the extra gear?
Yeah, honestly, like, I thought, fuck, I'm dead. Like, I'm sorry for the for the word, but yeah, I thought I was dead and I thought it's gonna be fourth, but yeah. Then my compatriot Miguel, who had an awesome race as well, he just cramped up, and yeah, and then I just had to go for the third place.
A mighty finish, brilliant race, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Doug Gray down there making everyone cry, one after the other.
Oh my
some
gosh.
Emotional, and I think that's just relief at the end of the day, that these, you know, on the day, everything can work out. It was Kropko who led the Aussie exit, lost his cap, but that didn't matter, and led into transition, but Conway came in right beside him, and you'll see that right now. There you go, 1 and 2 came in. Coltman had a great swim as well, and as they came out onto the bike, it was a group of 12 that kept putting time into the chasing pack, and we heard the other athletes just congratulate or thank Ollie Conway for pushing so hard on the bike, and then had a great transition, and the legs felt good, and that was the last time he was seen. Ollie Conway, who pushed on the first time up the hill, Belinda Granger, and then disappeared.
And honestly, those finish line interviews, I think they show us all just what a big deal the World Championships is. It's not like another race. It's not a World Cup race. It's not even a WTCS race. It is the World Championships, and the emotion of it all. I think once they cross that finish line, they realise what they've achieved. And like they spoke about, that they came in with not knowing if they had that performance up their sleeve. Kropko being a little bit sick as he came into this race, but being able to pull it off on the day, and the emotions that they showed were just, they're priceless.
Well, Conway, a 29.35 run to run away from Marton Kropko, the Hungarian, who picks up a silver off the back of being ill in recent weeks. Ewan Denigro, a lot of relief from him as well, as he got Miguel Espuna-Laramona, who had a fantastic race. Mitch Coltman came in fifth in the end. Jules Rethray, well done to him, had an accident but came back. João Batista and Rhys Vanison ran a 30.14 and 30.13 respectively, so the second and third fastest runs. And Esteban Basanta Fuz and Lucas Cambresi round out the top 10. That is the first of what is going to be many, many exciting races here in Wollongong. Belinda, we've got another one up very, very soon.
Cannot wait. If it's anything like we've just seen, we are in for an absolute doozy.
4:15 local, that's about an hour away. We're going to go and have a relax for a minute. We're going to come back with the Women's Under-23 World Championships. We hope you enjoyed it. We will see you very soon.